on somebody's head. It sounds like a pretty violent thing, right? However, though we are tempted, this is not about like me shoveling painful coals of guilt upon my enemy's head in some way, using this as a justifiable way to get my revenge, like as if being nice was going to make them feel horrible and I would be the victor because I won. Basically, there's a few explanations, but what I think is the best one is an ancient practice of when someone was genuinely, deeply sorry for what they did. They would take a pan of hot coals and they'd fill it up, and they'd walk around the city streets with it like this on top of their head, holding it, and basically displaying to everyone in the town that I am genuinely sorry for what I did. Now, this is a painful, uncomfortable thing for them to do, a sacrifice. And so they'd be showing them, I'm willing to do this because I want to show you that I am indeed sorry for what I did. It wasn't any kind of court order or anything like that. It was all voluntary. And what happens is, feeding our enemy, giving our enemy drink, heaps these coals of love, I guess you could say, on their heads, because when they see this love, they're seeing the light of truth. They're seeing the light of God. And when you see the light, you're better able to recognize the darkness. So they see this light, and it's almost as if it's shown on their deed of what they did to reveal it for what it really is. These people stuck in a cycle of evil don't understand anything but that. Then their response, hopefully, becomes one of remorse, to the point where they say, I seen the light now. I want that. I don't want this evil thing anymore. The Amish have a great example of this. They did this in spades, and I have a few quotes that illustrate this. The first is, a grandfather of one of the murdered Amish girls said of the killer, on the day of the murder, the same day of the murder, we must not think evil of this man. This is a grandfather of one of the kids that was brutally shot innocently. And he knew forgiveness and love, not paying back evil for evil, was just a gut reaction for this man. Jack Meyer, a member of the Brethren community living near the Amish in Lancaster County, explained, I don't think there's anybody here that wants to do anything but forgive and not only reach out to those who have suffered a loss in that way, but to reach out to the family of the man who committed these acts. So not only was it just this grandfather, but the whole community together knew that one of the most important things at this point was love and forgiveness. They initiated it right away, before they had pursued any of the other arrangements. And you can imagine it too. The police are still there, the reporters are there, helicopters are flying around, people are in your face with microphones and cameras, and the one thing they know that they need to do is to love and forgive. Another one, an Amish neighbor comforted the Roberts family hours after the shooting and extended forgiveness to them. Now this one I think the most profound, is there was 4 sisters in that schoolroom that day. 2 of them were saved, 2 of them were shot. The father of those 2 girls went to the house of where the man came from, and he went to the wife and the kids. It was either that day or the next day. This is the father of 2 little girls that he loved and cherished were killed. And he went to the house, and you can imagine going to the house of the man that shot your kids. And he sat down with the mom and the 2 kids, and he said, I want you to know that we forgive you and that we love you. And as a matter of fact, we're here actually to serve you. We want to love you because we know that you are victims in this too. Not only that, they went so far as to set up a charitable fund for her kids. You see, the Amish saw a need. Just as Paul said, fulfill the need of your enemy, give them food, give them drink. The Amish here saw a need that happened. The breadwinner of the family, he also shot himself, and so he was gone. And so the Amish knew that there was a need, a financial need there. So they set up a fund for the kids. They gave the family money. And then they gave enough money to pay for the shooter's funeral. Now imagine that. We live in an evil world, one that is filled with violence and hatred. But we as Christians are called to be witnesses of God. This can't be done with evil or vengeance. We can't claim to be Christians and go out and act as the world and then try to point the way to Christ. We have to be Christ to these people. This can only be done with love. And for the short time that we have on this earth, we have a limited time to take part in the greatest mission of all time, to show this evil world that has been the same since the fall a way out, a way of true love, a way of real hope, the way of real salvation. And that is taking the gospel to the world, being love in the hard situation. In verse 19 it says, "Never take your own revenge, but leave room for the wrath of God, for it is written, 'Vengeance is mine, I will repay.'" And we have to understand, too, that what these people do is wrong. Our loving them doesn't bring any kind of justification or excuse to what they did, and it doesn't make light at all of what they did. God is not saying that they're off the hook. He's saying, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay," says the Lord. Now, for this short time, He wants us to love. These people need to know God's love, because in a while, they're going to know His wrath. Eventually, we have hope and we have faith that justice will be done. Justice will be done. God will inflict His wrath. Those that have done evil will be repaid. But who are we to think that we can take upon God's yoke, the Creator of the universe, and think that we can take upon ourselves the yoke of bringing wrath upon those who have done wrong? It wouldn't do anything more than perpetuate this awful cycle that we're stuck in. Last, in verse 21, he tells us, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." The world saw that day what happened, and in fact, I think there were more reports on the Amish response than there were on the actual event. And if you'll go online and read some of the reports, you'll see the second half of the report is always a highlight of the Amish response, because it's just like, this is just as much fascinating news as the actual event that happened. And I read a lot of the reports online, and online you can read it, and then there's blog responses, which are little posts that people can write in response, and everyone can read them. And almost everyone gave a similar response saying, "This is unheard of. I've never heard of this kind of forgiveness or love before. I don't even know how to figure this out." Another person would say, "I'm not religious, but if I was going to be religious, this is the type of religious I'd be. Maybe not Amish, but this is so inspiring to me." On that day, as the world watched, the Amish overcame evil. They overcame evil with good. Evil was not the victor that day. Good was. And everybody, Christian, non-Christian, America, different countries, all over Europe, they all saw it happen. And this is what we are called into. So again, I want you to think about your enemy, any person that's basically taken advantage of you. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It could be someone who's just simply insulted you and you're holding that grudge against him. In what way can you be a representative of God in that situation? Think about how you can overcome evil with good by, instead of frustratingly